Hello, hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space. And a couple more holiday cards for this year's holiday card series for those that might have not watched my more recent Christmas card videos. I'm working on my stash for next year, so I'm just kind of, as of right now, adding them to this year's holiday card series. And again, we'll just see if I continue this. I'm kind of hoping I can maybe do 1 or 2 videos a month, you know, in the new year and just start a whole new Christmas series after the end of this month. We'll see. We'll see. I got too many things on my plate. But these cards, you could totally switch out the sentiment and it could be sort of any occasion, like they're snowflake themed. But all I did was add a like Christmas themed sentiment, so you could switch that out to like thank you, thinking of you, birthday, you know, why not? And then I also did black, gold, and white because that will forever be one of my faves. So yeah, I will have a link to my this way black, gold, and white playlist because I have many, like dozens of videos that I have done over the years doing black, gold, and white cards because that's one of my faves. My holiday series, I used a couple of the products that come in Simon Says Stamps January 2024 card kit, specifically like the embossing folder, because it's snowflakes. It's snowflakes. Like I always say, can you have too many snowflake stamps, dies, embossing folders, whatever? No, I don't think so. So, all in all, fairly clean and simple cards for the most part. Like, pretty simple. That's just where I was going, you know? And then I'm sure the next time it'll be everything but the kitchen sink, 3 different types of sprays, 30,000 different products. You know, you guys know. You guys know. But anywho, keep watching and I'll show you guys how I made these cards. So to start off with, I pulled out some of Simon Says Stamps black glossy cardstock. This will work with just about any either like glossy cardstocks, metallics, any cardstocks that have a white core to them, because there are many out there now that have, you know, white cores, craft cores, anything like that. Any of those are going to work. So I'm using black glossy cardstock. I had already cut a couple pieces down to A2 size, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I flipped it over, misted the back of it, so the white side of the cardstock, with a bit of water just to soften it a bit so I get a better embossed impression because it softens those paper fibers. And then I put it inside the Cheery Snowflakes embossing folder. And this is one of Simon Says Stamps 3D embossing folders, so it will go through an Griffin EMPRESS die cut machine with just one cutting plate. And so I embossed it. And now I've got this snowflake embossed background on black glossy cardstock, which on its own is pretty fun, but we're gonna enhance it a bit because especially on black and especially on video and that, it's hard to show like the actual detail and everything because the lights just blow it all out, etc. So I embossed both of the panels, and then I just took a little sanding block. I have shown videos using these. It's been a long time. I did a video like a million years ago. It's well over a decade, if not closer to like 15 plus years ago, showing using little sanding blocks just to smooth off the edges of your cardstock. If you have like rough edges of your cardstock from like, you know, if you're like me and you're lazy and haven't changed your cutting blade on certain cutters, that sort of a thing, use a sanding block. It takes it right off. I've got a whole video about that, like some little quick tip video, again, from a million years ago. Anyhow, you can also use it like this. So I'm not applying any pressure. I'm just holding the sanding block and just basically sanding the high points of this embossed background. So because the cardstock has that white core, it's sanding away the black glossy cardstock and exposing the white core. You don't need very much pressure. And again, I'm not pressing on this because I don't want to scratch up like the background, like the smoother areas. So I'm literally just holding it flat to the cardstock, and you can see just going in a bit of a circular motion, wiping away the excess little bits, you know, the dust and whatnot. And that's it. It's super simple. And it will depend on like the type of folder you use, you know, the type of pattern, etc. But it's just a fun and super simple little technique. So after I sanded both of those backgrounds, I took some of Simon's gold glitter cardstock, and also some of Simon's matte gold cardstock. And for my main sentiment, or only sentiment, I'm using the All the Joy wafer die. I've used this in a couple videos recently because it's, I don't know, I just, you know, certain things you just kind of fixate on. That's me in this wafer die. So I die cut the little Harmony snowflakes. The embossing folder and the snowflakes come in the January 2024 card kit from Simon. They are available individually as well, and I will have links to all the things like the kit and then all the individual items. But I use the Harmony snowflakes, and I die cut them from the gold glitter paper, and doing everything, of course, more than once. So I got multiple die cuts. And then for the sentiment, I die cut it from that matte gold cardstock, and I didn't use the outline. I was going to. I thought about die cutting the outline from just black cardstock, and then decided no. Instead, I'm going to stack the sentiment and make it, give it a bit more dimension. So I just die cut scraps of just plain black cardstock to stack together behind the matte gold layer. So I'm going to stack 2 layers of black cardstock die cut words together, just using a bit of craft tacky glue. And I've got my craft tacky glue in a little precision bottle, so I can do all the little fine fiddly bits, which come in really handy with specifically the snowflakes. The sentiment I didn't really need like the fine tip at all, but I had it out because I was going to use it anyway, so whatever. So 2 layers of the black, and then topping it with the matte gold layer. So it gives it all the fabulous dimension, which of course gives us life. So after I got those stacked together, I am going to trim my backgrounds down a bit. Originally they were A2 sized. I ended up trimming about like 1/8 of an inch off each side. So these end up being 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I don't do this very often. I don't know. I tend to make all my card panels like just rectangles, you know, like it's just where my brain goes. I don't know. But I was like, what am I going to put on the inside of the card? And I was like, oh, I could put some die cut snowflakes. And I'm like, wait a minute. What if I cut this front panel down on an angle and then take those pieces that are cut off and stick them on the inside of the card? So it gives a little bit of a different look to the front of the card, and it gives me a little something to put on the inside of the card. Just again, to get you guys know, if you watch my videos, I got to have something on the inside of the card. And I don't know, I didn't want to stamp any other sentiments. I just like the way this was going. This is my version of clean and simple. You know, not a whole lot of white space on the card front itself, but still fairly clean and simple, you know? So I adhere those little pieces to the insides of my cards, and my cards are top folding A2 white note cards. And I die cut a couple extra of the smaller snowflakes from that same gold glitter cardstock. So I adhered those little black embossed pieces to the inside, and then adhered a couple of the little gold glitter snowflakes. And that's all I did on the inside of the card. I could have stamped sentiments. I could have stamped some snowflakes, like the stamp set that comes with the kit, etc. But I was like, no, I like where this was going. So after I did that, so the insides are done, I'm going to adhere these panels. And again, I'm just adhering them with craft tacky glue. If you want to like step it up, you could totally pop this up with a bit of like foam dimension, etc. Like give it extra dimension. But I wanted this to be adhered flat to the card because I wanted to adhere that big snowflake in the lower corner there, like you see on the one I just finished. So not having that black cardstock panel popped up made this a little easier, because there ain't no way I was going to try and like die cut multiples of the snowflake to give it, you know, enough dimension and strength to suspend it over the white cardstock, if that makes sense. So after I'd done that, I'd also die cut the smaller snowflakes from just some white cardstock scraps as well, just to give it that little extra something on the background. And I had done the card on the left there, which I tend to do when I'm doing more than one card. Figure out my layout, where everything goes, get it all adhered. And then I just have to follow it on the second one, which just makes everything a lot easier. And then you guys don't have to sit and watch me like dither around figuring out like, should it go here? Should it go here? Trust me, everything comes together, you know, with the magic of video editing. You guys don't see all the behind the scenes and me dropping everything, always. All the wafer dies I used, everything ended up on the floor. It just is what it is. I spend more time trying to find things than I do actually making things, I swear. Anyway, after I got all the little snowflakes and the sentiment adhered, for my bling, I just pulled out some white pearls from my stash just to give it that little extra something without being too busy. I decided not to do any splatter or anything like that. Like I said, this is my version of clean and simple. Plus, I don't like adding splatter on top of like glossy or metallic cardstocks, because more often than not, one, it takes forever to dry, and 99% of the time, I end up completely smearing everything because I can't leave it long enough to actually dry. So I skipped the splatter and just added a bit of bling. And once that was done, let the glue dry from all that, and these cards were complete. So they're shiny and metallic and glittery, and it's really fun. That embossed background, it's so simple, you know, but it just gives it that little extra something. So like I said, I will have links in the description box to all the things, to the kit, to everything individually, all the supplies I used. That'll be in the description box below the video, as well as a link to my blog post, where there'll be a visual supply list and pictures and all the things. So you can just check that out below if you're interested. Thank you all so very much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. And I'll see you all very soon in the next video. Bye.